What is up, Marvel Universe fanatics? Welcome to part 3 of the top 50 Marvel Universe figures of all time. This is numbers 30 to 21. We are winding down, and I am extremely excited to be bringing you guys this video. I really hope you enjoyed this list. Play that funky intro.
Ashrock, 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 Ashrock. You hear me, motherfucker?
That's crispy.
Number 30 on the list is Scarlet Witch, series number 4, August 2012, and I'm glad we got her. The only other Scarlet Witch you can really get is in a Mini-Mates form or the Marvel Legends version, which is just basically red diarrhea. Now you have that image stuck in your head. It's just a god-awful figure. But this one here definitely made up for it. Paint applications came out real nice, but the two things that stood out to me the most was the cape and the head sculpt. The head sculpt with the hair, I thought it was really beautifully done. Well sculpted, including the hair that kind of drifts above the little face plate there. I thought came out really nice, and the likeliness of the character, so badass. I highly recommend it for your Avengers / X-Men setup. Let's move on. Number 29 on the list is Astonishing Beast, series number 4, August 2012, and badass. The only gripe I would have, and most Marvel Universe fans would have, is that we never got a 90s variant, the Jim Lee version. That would have been really nice to see, to have part of your Jim Lee team, because we have almost the entire team in Marvel Universe line with the exception of that. So the only other way you can get them is through the Marvel Legends Showdown version, which is a pretty cool figure if you can find them. Kind of expensive, but they're definitely fitting. But this figure itself is badass. I thought the Astonishing X-Men run was great. I'm a big X-Men fan. That's my favorite thing in the world. And his role and all that was great. And the paint applications on this, the sculpting, the fur, the articulation, everything about this figure screams awesome. And the articulation, look, he's got foot articulation. He's got the wrist hinge. I get really excited looking at this figure. When I first saw it, I was very overwhelmed, and I thought they did a great job, and they definitely paid off. So I highly recommend this figure to be part of your X-Men setup. If you don't have them, please go get yours. Let's move on. Number 28 on the list is Black Bolt. Came out in an Inhumans 3-pack that consisted of Black Bolt, Medusa, and Karnak, and I'm glad it did. It came out in 2013, and it is a badass figure. I am a big fan of Black Bolt. He's in my top 20 Marvel characters of all time. Such a great leader. So simple when you look at this figure, but that's sometimes what makes a figure great. You don't need to go all out. And you'd be surprised, even as simple as this figure is, they could have easily messed this thing up with paint applications, but they did not. Silver and black, that's all you get. But even so much as the symbol on his forehead, if you guys have this figure, you can tell that there was some definite detail, some craftsmanship that went into this. The wings on his sides are very simplistic, and they wrap around on these little hinges on his arms, and you can move them around, so it's not like they're glued onto his arms and everything like that. But definitely a cool figure, newer mold. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I think they did a great job with this figure, and I highly recommend it to complete your Illuminati. Let's move on. Number 27 on the list is Tiger Shark. This is part of the Masters of Evil 3-pack, the 2012 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and in that pack you got Tiger Shark, Radioactive Man, and Baron Zemo. But this figure definitely takes the cake for me. Not only in paint applications, not only in molding, but just pure character selection, man. You did not ever think you'd get this kind of character, some abstract characters, and to get them part of an exclusive is absolutely awesome. Paint applications similar to the Black Bolt, two simple colors, orange and purple. But it came out beautiful, man. Just so well detailed. The head sculpt, the likeliness of the character, everything about it. The articulation was on point. This is a great figure all around. Now, this is a very difficult figure to get now. It's gonna, on eBay, you can go upwards of $50 or more with the 3-pack. because the 3-pack itself is very, very hard to find. But if you guys can get your hands on this one, it is a classic figure and just looks awesome in your collection. I highly, highly recommend it. Let's move on. Number 26 on the list is Rogue, part of the Uncanny X-Men 3-pack that came out last year, 2013. Well, it could have been a 4-pack. It had Rogue, Longshot, Wolverine, and little baby Cyclops. I wish they would have came out the rest of the baby X-Men team. That would have been really cool to see. But nonetheless, this figure here is the gem in that 3-pack or 4-pack, whatever you want to call it. Pure nostalgic right here, man. This is just like, this screams 90s X-Men. This screams Jim Lee. This screams the whole 90s era with the cartoon and everything. This is the figure we've all been waiting for, and they did a great, great job. Paint applications, attention to detail. When you're talking about even so much as the belt, if you guys remember in the 90s, she always wore a belt, even though I never understood why, because it never really fit her. It just kind of dangled around her waist. But you can see how it kind of leans to the side. It doesn't necessarily sit, it doesn't fit perfectly. Those are the little things that really stand out to me. The hair sculpt, the little bandana across her head. I thought they did a great job. The coat itself, amazing, amazing job. I highly recommend this figure. Maybe they'll come out with this in a single carded version. I wish they would, so you guys could really appreciate this, because this is really the reason why you would want to get that 3-pack, to be honest. I highly recommend it. Go get yours. Let's move on. Number 25 on the list is Taskmaster. This figure came out in a 2-pack with Deadpool in 2011. And it is definitely a classic, classic figure. When you're talking about character selection, this is another one of those characters that I could not wait to see in a 3 3/4 inch figure. And this one came equipped with tons of accessories. He's got his staff. He's got the shield. He's got a gun. He's got a sword. He has a ton of detail. He is very, very top heavy when you have all this stuff on him. So that's why, as you can see, I have a little bit of wax at the bottom of his left foot there to hold him in place, because he can be difficult to stand. And he fell over like 4 times when he was on this little spinning thing. It was starting to piss me off a little bit. But nonetheless, great character, great. Just the paint application, so much detail, attention to detail on this figure definitely stands out. Very, very difficult figure to find, but if you could find yours in a 2-pack with Deadpool, I highly recommend it. He is the gem, obviously, in that 2-pack. I guarantee it. Let's move on. Number 24 is the Skrull Soldier. This is part of series number 2, June 2010. Man, almost 4 years, dude. That's insane. But this is my favorite army builder. At one point, I think I had about 20 of these bad boys, and I unloaded a couple of them just because I didn't need that many. 5 is usually the limit I like on my army building, but that's just me. But when you're talking about fine detail, when you're talking about paint applications, when you're talking about sculpt, this figure definitely stood out. This came out in series number 2 again, in the beginning of series number 2. So you got to see where Marvel Universe was starting to go, and this is part of that snowball effect, if you will, that started to roll down the hill and get better and better and bigger and better over time. The weapons on this bad boy, very, very neat. You got the alien weapons, and that's what's really cool about it. And then the paint applications, the head sculpt, a great figure and very, very well done by the team over at Marvel Universe. So I highly recommend this figure if you don't have this in your collection. Get a couple of them. It's really, really neat. Let's move on. Number 23 is Captain America, series number 5, July 2013. And we've had many Captain Americas in the Marvel Universe line, but this one definitely takes the cake. And by many, I mean we've probably had about 15 when you're talking about exclusives, 2-packs, 3-packs, 5-packs, all kinds of them. But this one takes the cake. I highly recommend this one if you had to pick any of them, just from the sheer amount, just from the mold itself, utilizing the newer Marvel Universe figure mold. So better articulation, way better paint applications on this one. Just really stood out. And the only gripe I'd have is with the shield. I wish they had a little peg hole in the back for you to insert the shield, but they do not on this particular figure. But still, nonetheless, a badass figure and definitely worth it. If you're trying to put together your Avengers team, this is the figure you want to have in your collection. guaranteed. All right, let's move on. Number 22 is Archangel, series number 2, April 2010. And again, part of series number 2, that snowball effect we talked about earlier, how Marvel Universe really started to develop, and he was a big role in all of that. You started to see people look at Marvel Universe differently when they saw a figure like this, with the attention to detail with the wings, the amount of articulation that went into the wings, all the hinges you can see there, so much possibilities with the wings. There is a variant to this. It is a Death Mask variant with short wings, no wings really at all. I wish they would have just gave us that head, maybe part of this single carded version, and just do a head swap. But, you know, I get it, variants, make money, blah, 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 blah. And there is a X-Force exclusive, a San Diego Comic-Con X-Force exclusive. But this one was probably my favorite one. Definitely my favorite one out of the 3. I highly recommend this one. Part of your X-Men, your 90s X-Men setup. You know, there's not much to complain about with this figure. There really isn't. I mean, maybe the older mold. But during that time, it didn't really matter because the wings made up for so much of this figure. Definitely stands out. I highly recommend it. You need this in your collection. Let's move on. Number 21 is Nova, series number 4, January 2013, and I am so glad this figure came out. Up to that point, we had a Marvel Mini-Mate that was pretty cool. Then you had the Marvel Legends version of Nova, which was similar to Scarlet Witch. Instead of red diarrhea, it was blue diarrhea. It was absolutely just god-awful in my opinion. But this one made up for it, and this actual figure is being upscaled to a Marvel Legends version for the Guardians of the Galaxy Infinite series that will be coming out, the 6-inch series, which is really cool to see. But this figure is just amazing. Newer mold, obviously. Very simplistic with all his paint applications. But this figure pops, man. It just pops. The gold surrounded by the blue, it just stands out. It almost looks like a 3D effect. It gives it just pops out at you, man. It's so neat to see. And you know, when it comes to Marvel Universe, their attention to detail, and this is one of those figures with the various gold pieces and the head sculpt and everything about this figure really stands out. So I highly recommend you get this. He was re-released in a revision series in series number 5, which is really cool to see. So that is it for this part of the top 50s, number 30 to 21. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos. I will be pumping out numbers 20 to 11 within the next 2 weeks. I promise you, within the next 2 weeks, you will see that video, and we are winding down to the top 20. So I'm having a blast putting these videos together, and I hope you guys are enjoying them. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, remember to laugh every single day. I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace.